DeSantis ordered his state's public schools open at the start of last year. And when students and schools were given the choice in places like Arizona, we were able to prove progressive groupthink wrong and put millions of kids back in the classroom. So I've been asked, is it too late? Have our schools so utterly abandoned their duty to teach civic knowledge and appreciation that principles like federalism have simply been lost and that we're beyond the point of no return? To that I say, not yet. You see, federalism, like school choice, which we work every day at the Goldwater Institute to promote, ensures that options exist for families and communities. And I believe Americans are seeing that play out more clearly now than ever amid the pandemic. The contrast between lockdown and free states, between schools pushing critical race theory and those affirming our Constitution. So what we need is simply to equip our friends and neighbors and families to see the contrasts of these two worlds so that we don't have to submit to the one. In closing, I'd like to leave you quickly with two concrete resources to help fight in this battle. One, at the Goldwater Institute we're working on is academic transparency to ensure that families can see what's being taught, going to their local school boards and the legislature and getting this policy enacted. And secondly, courtesy of the state legislature, including some of the representatives here tonight, who created a new program at ASU, the School of Civic and Economic Thought and Leadership, which is in fact rolling out a new civics literacy curriculum for K-12 students, homeschoolers, teachers, the kind of material to promote federalism and constitutional principles to help defend that. So thank you very much.
It is now my pleasure to introduce Karen Fann. The second female Senate president in the history of Arizona. Senator Fann was first elected in November of 2016 to represent Legislative District Number 1, which covers 8,000 square miles throughout Yavapai County and portions of Maricopa County. She previously served this district from 2011 to 2016 as a state representative. Ladies and gentlemen, Karen Fann.
Thank you, everybody. And I am your current Senate president and only the second female president in the history of Arizona. How do you like that? Thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. First and foremost, here's what I want to say to any of you out there in the audience that volunteered at the audit. My grateful gratitude to every single one of you. This has been a long journey. We're almost there finally. And you guys are just amazing. Could not have done it without you and all of your prayers that all of you kept sending. It's been a tough road. I mean, the media has just hammered us, the Democrats, from day one, before we picked an auditor, before we did anything. They did everything they could to disparage us. They have tried to discredit us, and we have stood strong. Every one of you have stood strong and said, we're not going to bow down, because election integrity means everything. We talk about the Constitution and what that means to us and the principles of what we have here in America. But I will tell you the number one thing that is more important than anything else in the entire world, and that's election integrity. Because no matter what you want for your family, your business, your freedoms, your church, your anything you have, it seems today more and more it all depends on who you vote for. Look at what's happened in the last 7 months, folks. We have taken a free country into something that is nothing more than a tyranny right now. And it's because elections have consequences. So this week we had a great victory. Maricopa County Board of Supervisors contacted me a couple of days ago and said, we'd like to come talk settlement with you. I said, sure. I said, what do you got? And they said, well, we're not comfortable with the auditors actually touching the routers, but how about if we do a special master, we'll get some independent IT people, and they will actually perform the function of what we need to get all of the data information that we need off the routers and the Splunk logs and everything we've been working so hard for in the last 6 months. I said, okay, that's what we want. We needed that information. I said, what else you got? And they said, well, we'll take the $2.8 million notice of claim off the table, and you don't have to pay that either. And I said, okay, I'm good. And I said, we'll go with that, but remember, I'm not giving up anything. This only settles that $14.87. So if they don't produce or we find anything else we need, I will be filing another subpoena tomorrow. Because we're not giving up, guys. We're not giving up. This is too important. Our work is only beginning. It's taken a lot longer than we thought. But remember, our job as the Senate, and the reason we were allowed to do this is we make the laws. And we make sure those laws are fair and impartial. And this whole thing about voter suppression is just ridiculous. Because we aren't suppressing votes. What we're trying to do is make it equal votes for every single one of us. So the Senate will continue to fix the election laws and make sure that we are going to do the right thing, and we're going to add some more laws, and we're going to be holding some people accountable here. We're also going to take all this information and we're giving it to the Attorney General's office. And we're going to ask them to open up an investigation immediately, because these people need to be held accountable. There were laws broken, and you can't do that. So Friday, the audit is coming out Friday, the report. Finally. I don't know everything that's in it. I do know, as I said, I know there were a lot of laws broken. I can sure tell you that. So we're going to hear what's probably be about 3 hours. It will be live streamed if you guys want to watch it from your computers or from your homes or whatever. We will be recording it as well. I'm sure One America News and some of the other stations, the radio, TV stations, will do it as the same. As I said, remember, this is our start. The hard work starts after this, and God bless every one of you and those who have helped make this happen. Good night. Thank you. Hope I didn't go through it. Perfect.
Woohoo! I just want to make sure that you guys all understand that these raffle winners were not done with those machines. Just so you know. It's all fair, it's good, it's balanced. We know how to do things right here in this party. So, our next raffle winner is with the Christensen Oral Surgery Exam and X-Ray. This is $195. Get your teeth checked and all that for free. And it goes to raffle winner 264107. 264107. Our next one is with Sheriff Lamb and Janelle Lamb's assigned copy of their books. These are some amazing books. And it goes to raffle number 264142. 264142. One more last item here before we get to our silent auction winners. And that goes as for a gardening basket. And that is raffle number 264123. 264123. I know how to count. Thank you. I'm good. So make sure if you have any of these raffle winners, you take your ticket to the front booth and you pick up your raffle prize there. Who entered the silent auctions? We have two winners from the silent auctions. One is for Mountainside Fitness, and the other is for Vacation Rentals to win a mountain getaway, Pinetop Mountain getaway. So, are you ready? Do we have a drum roll or something? Where's my drummer? Come up here, drummer. By the way, our drummer tonight is my son-in-law. His name is Jason Osmond. He is Jay Osmond's son of the Osmond brothers. So let's give a... He learned how to drum. Very good. Okay, ready? Let's give him the drum roll. Okay, our winner for the Mountainside Fitness is Naomi Brown Art. Naomi Brown Art. It gets one Mountainside Fitness membership, and we have a second one. Ready? Yeah. For Shanda Riggs. Shanda Riggs. Are you here? Okay, and then our third and final silent auction item winner, and this is for a 3-day, 2-night stay in Pine Top for this fall getaway, and that goes to Tanya Dennis. Anybody know Tanya? Okay, make sure to check with the raffle department at the end and pick up your information, especially on those two. It'll give you the information to who to contact to get your prize. Thank you.
Have you guys enjoyed your evening so far? Good, good. I assure you that you are a lot cooler than I am being up here in all of this. Our final speaker this evening will be Jeff Utch. Jeff is a leadership and history instructor at the Leadership and Freedom Center in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, where he teaches leadership lessons. Jeff also teaches professional development and leading with a purpose course to law enforcement and other agencies around the country. He is the founder of Heirs of the Republic Education Foundation, a 501c3 organization dedicated to securing the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, as Jeff believes freedom is not a spectator sport. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Utch.
All right, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. I am so grateful for our elected leaders. Our congressional delegation from Arizona is the best, if not one of the best in the whole country. They're freedom fighters. So as I was thinking today about what to talk about, I wasn't sure if I was going to share a story that I'm going to tell you. And I feel like I'm amongst friends. I had a couple workshops. We had some interaction. And I will tell you why I'm here tonight. So each of us have our 9/11 story. That's old enough to remember 9/11. Each of us knows exactly where we were. And I happened to be training with the SEAL team that eventually got the bad guy. Does everybody know what I'm talking about? Now, I'm not a SEAL and I don't have those skills. I have one small specific area that they need to know, and it's tactical swimming. I'm a swimmer, that's what I did. And so as I was teaching this squadron and this happened, the first thing I did is get through the day. We did finish our training. They cleared out the entire base. They brought out these anti-aircraft machines, except we still did our training. The beepers went off. It's a long story. We got through the day. And from then on, they had to actually sneak me on base to finish the training as they got ready to deploy. So while I was seeing them go through this, I tried to call my wife. It was very difficult, if everybody remembers, with the phones to get out. And this, we finally talked to each other, and you know, interesting. But I went through a little pity party time. Okay, I went through a pity party time because every person I was training that week was getting ready to do something very purposeful, were they not? They had put themselves in a position to make a difference. All these men were in the prime of their lives, at the top of their game, and ready to go. And I was the sole person there that was going back home instead of going to take care of business. So I had a little pity party, and I felt sorry for myself. It's like, I'm a loser, you know. I haven't done what I should be doing. But I didn't quickly realize, but I did realize, okay, if they're going to fight for our freedoms abroad, what I'm going to do outside of my family and faith is dedicate my life to trying to preserve our liberties at home. And so then I said, okay, if I'm going to do that, how am I going to do that? How can I best preserve liberty at home? And there's a long story to get to that, but eventually I said education. And why education? Why teach? Because teaching and education can enlighten people, can it not? It can change perspectives. And let me give you an example of how quick perspectives can be changed. Everybody has probably seen the movie It's a Wonderful Life, have you not? Okay, the first time I saw it, I saw it's like, oh, this is, what a big deal. When I saw it, I was like, wow, okay, that's good. Now I watch it over and over. But how quickly did George Bailey's perspective change? I mean, it took a whole movie, so it wasn't immediate, but it still happened within a few hours or a day, did it not? And at first he was very reluctant to see, but eventually, did his situation really change? What happened? Clarence came in and did his job. Was it difficult? It was difficult for Clarence, at least he thought it was. Okay, it was difficult for Clarence, but eventually he did his job. And what seemed like death, doomsday, life wasn't worth, he's ready to go off the bridge, to what? Gratitude, happiness, thankfulness. And that is what we need today. We need changes of perspectives. And with false narratives, such as things like the 1619 Project or the critical race theory, you can just go down the list. When you put in bad data, bad things come out, and they are mal-educated. So we need to change perspectives. And one of the people that needs to change his perspective the most is our president. Because in early July, Joe Biden said the following. He said, "It's impossible to define what an American is. I defy you to do it." And when I heard that, I said, you got to be kidding me. This guy's been in office for how long? 50 years? And he can't define what an American is? Well, and you just answered my question. The reason is, if we were to define it accurately, he would find himself wanting. And let me give you a few examples of how we can define what an American is. Think about what the first cry of America was. No taxation without what? No taxation without representation. So we do have representation for taxation, but it meant more than that. And James Otis, the father of the revolution, according to John Adams, long history on that. I do a whole course just on him. But no taxation without representation really meant we don't want coercion from a centralized government or a local government. We don't want that coercion coming unless we are represented and have a say. Not just for taxation, for anything. Now, could the president have and learn a lesson and get changed perspectives on that? Now look, we need Clarences out there changing perspectives, but some people aren't going to change them, are they? I mean, some George Baileys are just going to decide to jump in the river. And what we want to do is convince them not to. We've got to change those perspectives. So that is number one, no taxation without representation. And I'm not just picking on Joe Biden here, because I also think we could have a lot of others in the executive branches. Governors learn that same message, could we not? Okay, number two, so an American believes that. That is something that we believe. Number two, anybody ever heard of Patrick Henry's talk, "Give me liberty or death"? Now look, he went to the convention in Virginia with the legislatures, and they decided, look, can we help, and are we going to help those people up in Massachusetts? What are we going to do? And most of the convention said, we can't, it's not practical. It's not pragmatic. We don't have the arms. We don't have the guns. We don't have the money. We don't have the powder. We don't have the organization. And it was tending towards not helping. But Patrick Henry listened, and he was brilliant. And Thomas Jefferson, even though he didn't like the man very much, said he was the greatest orator of the ages. And I would recommend you go back and read what he said, because it's a great example of how to not be necessarily too confrontational or abusive or get people upset, but be very open and talk the truth. And he was able to get those that wanted to stand and be pragmatic to